которую раньше мы использовали от Запада, и которые по их вине стали для нас регионов. «Газпром» работает в очень плотном контакте с регионами за такую эффективную работу. Спасибо.
Еще один уточняющий вопрос. Вот те 4 основные направления сегодня, которые реализуются в газовой отрасли. Насколько...
Yani, генерить и создавать прорывные технологии. Это особенность русского человека. Престиж профессии инженера. Потому что инженеру без физики, математики, информатики...
То, что касается новой парадигмы, не то, что касается новой архитектуры мирового газа, в течение сейчас последних месяцев.
Thank you very much. Good to be back to St. Petersburg. And let me start with telling you about the one single mega trend in the world, in today's energy world. We talked a little bit about the trends here in this plenary session. The single mega trend in the energy world today is electrification. Everything in our life, in our economies, is becoming electric. Transportation, agriculture, industry, buildings, cooling, heating, cooking, everything is becoming electric. So, transportation, electric vehicles already mentioned. So, that's why we see this trend also happening in Turkey. What we are seeing in Turkey, we are expecting, we are forecasting our electricity demand, power demand, will be tripled over the next 3 decades. In the beginning of mid-century, beginning of 2050s, our energy demand, electricity demand will be tripled. But frankly, I don't think we fully quantify all these new elements into this demand increase. New elements, AI, Alexei already mentioned, data centers, again, cooling, electric vehicles. If you also add all these new kids in the block, the electric demand in Turkey, electricity demand in Turkey will be much more than the tripling of the current level today. So we are focusing on electricity in Turkey. But how are we going to get this electricity in a sustainable way, in a reliable way, and of course, affordable way? Everybody would like to have access to cheap energy, right? So that's why we are developing policies and we are developing strategies that we need to have inclusive, we need to have flexible, and of course, balanced energy system, energy strategy. That's why you see Turkey announcing and investing on the renewable side, renewable energy. We have a big potential, solar, wind, offshore wind, geothermal, biomass. And we announced quite recently, President Erdogan announced that Turkey is going to quadruple its solar and wind capacity by the year 2035. So we are going to have 120 gigawatt, at least solar and wind capacity by the 2035. We are going to utilize all of our renewable resources, but at the same time, we are investing heavily on nuclear power generation. Together with our Russian partners, we are building 4 reactors in Akkuyu in Turkey, and we are going to have 20 gigawatts of nuclear power generation by the year 2050. So, in addition to existing 4 reactors that's under construction in Akkuyu, we are going to add 8 additional reactors in Turkey on the nuclear side. And plus, we are planning to have small modular reactors. So combined, in 2050, we will have 20 gigawatts of power generation from nuclear, and at least 14–15% of the power will come from nuclear. But of course, we need gas. We need gas power generation for electricity. And on that front, currently we have 25 gigawatts of installed capacity. But this year we are going to have an additional gigawatt, and we are aiming to add some additional power generation capacity from gas. But when it comes to gas supply, it's a big question mark and big challenge for us, because the gas supply side, we are heavily bringing gas to Turkey through pipelines. We have a long-standing partnership, very reliable supply coming from Russia, coming from Gazprom for so many decades. It's not we started new. Coming from 1980s, actually, we started to receive gas from Russia, Iran, Azerbaijan, through pipelines. But especially after 2016, we started seeing there is a big boom on LNG, mainly coming from the US, and we started to invest our infrastructure, regasification capacities in Turkey, starting from 2016 to today. In 7-8 years' time, we almost increased 5 times our regasification capacities. And because the reason was we see that there is a growing trend, mainly in the US, Australia, maybe in the future in Africa, Qatar. The LNG is becoming a more important role in the gas market. And of course, from Russia as well. And since this period, we started to receive more LNG to Turkey. And as of today, almost 1/4, and some years, 1/3 of gas come to Turkey through LNG, as an LNG form. And in the meantime, we invested heavily on new pipelines like Turkstream, TANAP, all these projects. The main objective is to secure the gas supply of Turkey, because we consume gas in a household, we consume gas in our industry, we consume gas for power generation. And all these demand is increasing all these fronts. So gas is quite crucial for Turkey. What we are looking for right now is also invest in upstream, oil and gas upstream. That's why we are investing on offshore activities in the Black Sea region, in the Eastern Mediterranean, in different parts of the world. You can see Turkey in Somalia looking for oil and gas. Soon, hopefully, in Pakistan, together with our colleagues, we are looking for offshore blocks, onshore blocks. So we are investing upstream, we are investing midstream, the pipeline project, regasification infrastructure, and at the end of the day, we want secure gas supply, energy supply in an affordable manner to our citizens and to our customers. And let me remind you one thing. Every year we get together here. This is our tradition. We talk about the future of gas market, the demand, the supply, and everything. Let me remind you one thing, very important thing. Beginning of 2000s, what we have witnessed in the world, there was a big coal to gas transformation happened in the US. Big coal to gas transformation. Beginning of 2000s, in the US, they were generating electricity more than 50% from coal. And today, it is less than 15%, 1-5, from 50 to 15. What happened? Can you explain this only with some environmental concerns and policies and climate change? Maybe, but to be frank, to be honest, the one major reason for this was because levelized cost of electricity generating from gas much more competitive than coal. So that's why the last words from my side, I think also we need to focus, yes, supplying security of supply, but also competitiveness, affordability, and cheap energy is the key thing for the future of gas, for our market and for, I think, the global market. And last but not least, I would like to also mention about one last thing related to our relationship on the gas side, is basically we are focusing on gas supply of the country, but also go beyond this and to help our region for the security of supply, especially for Southeastern European region, and they can have access our infrastructure, and through that also they can secure their energy supply. Thank you.
Спасибо, господин Байрактар. Алексей
in terms of supplies, There are also reforms that we are trying to do in the pricing regime because there are many perverse. That climate change has posed on Pakistan. Even today, as I sit here, Pakistan has.
But frankly, I don't think we fully quantify all these new elements into this demand increase. New elements, AI, Alexei already mentioned, data centers, again cooling, electric vehicles. If you also add all these